Hello gentle listeners, and welcome back to Whispers of the Past. Tonight, we venture into the snow-covered landscapes of Iceland, where a dark and fearsome creature lurks in the shadows of holiday cheer, the Yule cat, Yule, a monstrous feline with a taste for the unlucky and the lazy. The holiday season is filled with tales of joy and giving, but not all Christmas stories are wrapped in warmth. Some, like the tale of Krampus, are warnings, grim reminders to stay vigilant even in times of celebration, and the Yule cat is another such cautionary figure. A beast from Icelandic lore meant to strike fear into the hearts of the careless and unprepared. Imagine looking out into the frosty night, snowflakes drifting under the pale glow of the moon. In the distance, glowing yellow eyes watch silently, waiting. For Icelanders of old, this wasn't just a frightful story, it was a survival lesson woven into their harsh winter reality. At the end of this episode, I've prepared a story about the Yule cat for you, but first, I'm going to tell you about the origins, the myth, and the cultural impact it has had. I hope you enjoy. The legend of the Yule cat dates back to Icelandic folklore, rooted deeply in the harsh realities of survival in a rugged, unforgiving land. According to tradition, the Yule cat is no ordinary feline. Towering over buildings with blazing eyes and razor-sharp claws, it prowls through villages during Christmas Eve, hunting for one specific type of prey: anyone who hasn't received new clothes for Christmas. But where did this strange and chilling custom come from? Historians believe the tale was crafted by Icelandic farm owners to ensure that workers finished spinning wool and weaving clothes before the harsh winter. Those who completed their tasks were rewarded with new garments, protection against the brutal cold, and safety from the Yule cat's deadly jaws. Laziness, in this context, could mean the difference between life and death. Some versions of the legend suggest that the Yule cat is linked to Gryla, a monstrous witch from Icelandic mythology, and her mischievous sons, the Yule lads. Together, they form a terrifying trio associated with Christmas folklore, reinforcing themes of punishment and reward. Gryla's connection to the Yule cat runs deeper than mere association. In folklore, she is described as a towering ogress who devours misbehaving children, and some tales suggest that the Yule cat serves as her loyal pet, aiding her in her gruesome quest. While Gryla searches for naughty children, the Yule cat stalks adults and children alike who fail to secure new clothes by Christmas Eve. A dual threat meant to ensure conformity and industriousness in Icelandic households. In more symbolic interpretations, the Yule cat and Gryla represent two facets of harsh winter life: the inevitability of death and the demand for productivity. Gryla's role as a devourer of children mirrors the real fears of famine and harsh winters, while the Yule cat enforces the practical necessity of preparedness through labor. The Yule cat's origin, alongside Gryla, also points to an evolving oral tradition. Early stories may have featured Gryla alone, with the Yule cat added later as a parallel enforcer. This dynamic expanded the myth's reach, creating a more comprehensive Christmas cautionary tale that targeted both the old and young, ensuring that everyone in the household pulled their weight. The harsh Icelandic winters played a crucial role in shaping the story. Clothing wasn't just a luxury, but a critical element of survival. Missing out on new clothes could genuinely mean exposure to freezing temperatures, making the Yule cat a symbolic enforcer of necessary winter preparation. In oral tradition, farmers also shared the Yule cat tale to maintain community discipline. The story reminded everyone that even simple tasks like spinning wool contributed to the greater good. In this sense, the Yule cat acted as a folkloric representation of communal responsibility and hard work. The first written records of the Yule cat appear in 19th century Icelandic literature, suggesting that the story evolved from an older, spoken tradition. Its survival through the ages highlights the enduring power of fear-based folklore in shaping social behavior. The Yule Cat's reputation is both a cautionary tale and a means of enforcing social order. Descriptions of the beast vary, but most stories agree on its enormous size, glowing yellow eyes, and fur black as a moonless winter night. It stalks through snow-covered fields, peering into windows and sniffing out homes where no new clothes have been gifted. Its eyes are said to glow like burning coals, and its breath turns the air to frost. Its claws can rend even the toughest hides, and its footsteps leave deep gouges in the frozen earth. It moves silently, a shadow in the snow, until it strikes with terrifying speed. Though primarily a punisher, some legends suggest that the Yule Cat can be warded off with generosity. Sharing warm clothing with those in need was believed to keep the creature at bay, a subtle encouragement toward community care. Many stories emphasize the suspense leading up to Christmas Eve. Families would anxiously await the holiday, not just for celebrations, but to ensure everyone in the household had something new to wear. The Yule Cat is also sometimes described as capable of speaking, though its voice is more a chilling growl or haunting whisper. Its words, if ever heard, were omens of doom. Folklore scholars have noted that the Yule Cat characteristics reflect primal fears of the unknown and the dark winter months. Its nocturnal prowling taps into the universal fear of being watched or hunted by an unseen predator in the dead of night. Some interpretations even suggest the Yule Cat as a symbolic of winter itself, cold, merciless, and indifferent. Its association with clothing could be seen as a metaphor for protection against the harshness of nature and fate. The Yule Cat's territorial presence has also been likened to the harsh wilderness of Iceland itself. Its large, looming presence mirrors the overwhelming and often deadly force of the elements during the dark winter months. In certain versions, the Yule Cat is said to be surrounded by an icy wind wherever it goes. This chilling detail underscores its role as a winter spirit tied to the freezing cold that could claim lives without warning. Additionally, the Yule Cat's obsession with new clothes has been analysed as a symbol of transformation and renewal. Clothes mark the passage of time, a new season, and the survival of another year, critical markers in a society closely tied to the cycle of nature. Some regional variations even describe the Yule Cat as a judge of one's industriousness. If someone receives new clothes, but hasn't worked hard enough to earn them, they might still face the cat's wrath, emphasizing not just material reward, but merit through effort. Though the Yule Cat began as a terrifying legend, it has become an enduring symbol of Icelandic holiday tradition. Today, it appears in songs, poems, and even holiday decorations. Icelandic poet Jóhannes Kollum immortalized the Yule Cat in his famous poem, ensuring that its legend would be passed down through generations. The practice of giving new clothes at Christmas remains popular in Iceland, although it's now viewed as a thoughtful and practical tradition rather than a protective charm. But parents do still tell their children the story of the Yule Cat, blending nostalgia with cultural heritage. The Yule Cat has even found a place in modern pop culture. It appears in children's books, fantasy stories, and seasonal events. Its eerie image, with burning eyes and ghostly form, lends itself well to artistic interpretations and holiday parade. In Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland, a giant statue of a Yule Cat sometimes makes an appearance during holiday festivities, reinforcing its status as a beloved yet fearsome cultural symbol. The legend has also inspired global interest, with stories about the Yule Cat circulating on folklore websites, in podcasts, and even in animated films. Its blend of mystery, morality, and myth ensures that the tale of the Yule Cat will continue to prowl through stories for generations to come. International folklore enthusiasts have embraced the Yule Cat as a dark, yet intriguing Christmas figure. Its rise in popularity highlights a global fascination with the eerie and the supernatural, even in the most joyful holiday season. The Yule Cat has also become a unique part of Iceland's tourism marketing, drawing visitors eager to experience its mythical homeland. Folk festivals often feature reenactments and Yule Cat-themed events, breathing new life into the ancient tale. Ultimately, the Yule Cat endures because it resonates with timeless human concerns, the need for security, the fear of scarcity, and the desire to be recognized and cared for, even if by something as fearsome as a monstrous Christmas cat. Now, it's time for the tale of the Yule Cat. The wind howled through the dark Icelandic valley on Christmas Eve, driving snow and swirling gusts that lashed against the windows of John's small cottage. The sky was a deep, inky black, pierced only by faint glimmers of distant stars. The full moon struggled to break through thick clouds, casting shifting shadows over the snow-covered ground. Inside the cottage, John sat by the dim glow of a flickering fire, spinning wool with tired, trembling hands. His young son, Aki, laid curled beneath a thin blanket, shivering in his sleep. The bitter cold seeped through the thin walls, making every breath hang like frost in the air. A shadow emerged from the blizzard, massive and primal. Its fur was dark as midnight, spiked with frost. Its muscles rippled beneath a coat thick as the winter itself. The Yule Cat's eyes glowed like molten gold, burning with a cruel intelligence. John felt its presence before he saw it, an oppressive weight pressing down on the room. He sprang to his feet, heart pounding as an icy wind battered the door. The howl of the wind twisted into something worse, a deep, guttural growl that resonated through the walls. The door shuddered under a heavy blow. John grabbed a rusted axe from the corner, but knew it would be useless. He understood why the Yule Cat had come. Neither he nor Aki had new clothes. The endless winter's hardships had left them with only patched and worn garments. Determined to protect his son, John stood before the fragile door. Another impact cracked the wooden frame. Through the splintered gap, John glimpsed the Yule Cat's monstrous eyes, blazing like twin suns in the storm. Desperation seized him. "Please," he cried into the night, "take me, but spare my boy." His voice cracked with pleading, carried away by the unyielding wind. For a moment, the storm stilled. Silence descended, thick and suffocating. Then, slowly, the broken door creaked open. Not shattered, but gently pushed aside. John braced himself, expecting the end. Instead, the Yule Cat stalked in with eerie grace, each massive paw leaving frost-rimmed prints on the floor. Its fur shimmered like frozen shadows, and its breath spilled in icy plumes. The beast paused, gaze fixed on the trembling boy bundled in his thin blanket. It sniffed the air, low and menacing, before turning its eyes back to John. "I have nothing to offer but myself," John whispered, falling to his knees. The Yule Cat loomed closer, its sharp claws scraping the wooden floor. Time stretched painfully as the great beast studied him. Then, with a low, rumbling snarl, it turned away and padded back into the storm, vanishing into the swirling snow. Breathless, John staggered to his feet. Aki still slept, undisturbed, his small chest rising and falling in steady rhythm. Only then did John notice the thick, fur-lined cloak draped over his son, a garment finer than any he'd ever seen. The wind outside softened into a distant whisper. The Yule Cat was gone, leaving behind only frost-kissed memories and the gift of warmth, earned not through wealth or work, but through the courage of a father's love. Thank you for joining us on this chilling Christmas Eve journey into the legend of the Yule Cat. As you gather with loved ones tonight, remember the deeper meaning behind this ancient tale, a story about kindness, sacrifice, and the warmth we create when we care for each other. Folklore reminds us that, even in the darkest nights, compassion can light the way, whether it's through a simple gift, a shared meal, or offering shelter from life's storms. Small acts of love can defy even the fiercest winter. From all of us here at Whispers of the Past, we wish you a safe, warm, and magical Christmas. May your hearths be bright, your hearts be full, and may the Yule cat pass your home by. If you enjoyed this episode, then please share it with your friends and family, as it really helps. And if you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, then please leave them on Spotify or wherever you're listening, or send them to whispersofthepastreviews@gmail.com. See you next time.